Hello, I'm here during the lunch rush with Janice, who owns her own food truck.
Best cheesesteaks in town.
Janice traded up to Geico Commercial Auto Insurance for her food truck business. We're here where she needs us most.
They sure are.
We make it so easy for her to save, with customised coverage that grows with her business. Sorry, I just get so emotional talking about saving folks money.
Not this onion I'm chopping?
It's just so beautiful. Oh yeah, no, it's the onion.
Get a commercial auto insurance quote today at geico.com and see how much you could save. It feels good to Geico.
It's really cool.
Bonjour, hello, and welcome to the Rosbiff Rugby Podcast, your one-stop shop for all things French rugby, top 14 Pro Day de Nationale, Champions and Challenge Cups. Of course, this week, the Six Nations kicking off Les Bleus, the French national team, and all the brilliant towns, cities, bars, restaurants, fans, places to eat, drink, make merry, and enjoy French rugby every week. Keep it simple. Rob, I've forgotten you got that bit of kit in our weekly stash wash. The technical. This is the technical light blue number, right?
Yeah, it's slightly more athleisure, but it's a cotton jumper. It's a cotton jumper.
Does it have like some sort of go faster reflective stripe on the arm as well? Yes. Yeah. Look at that. Incredible.
I'm also wearing underneath another slightly forgotten bit of stash, which is also slightly sporty technical, but it is a t-shirt in homage to the man that had to retire this week. Yeah.
Yeah, we might as well.
I mean, it's not quite big weenie sized, but goes on for a long way. This t-shirt, it kind of fits on top, but also goes down to the knees almost. So
bit of a nicey vibe going on there.
Yeah.
We may as well start there. Like, obviously, awful news came out. Not a week ago, only a few days ago now. Weenie Antonio. I think everyone was fairly taken aback when someone suddenly has to retire from the game with something as severe as a cardiac event. I saw Ronan O'Gara's interview. He was very, very emotional in the press conference before their game. Awful news, albeit it sounds like the prognosis is okay, I think, and certainly in the best place. But I mean, what a player, what a career, and what a horrible way for it to finish.
Yeah, a sad way for it to finish, because he didn't really go out on a high, did he? With his last game, which we were at, the defeat. He captained, which is quite a nice way for him to go out, captaining a Champions Cup game, but defeat to Harlequins was his last game, which is a bit of a shame. We'll come on to kind of the impact for France, I guess, and later on down the line, because we're obviously going to look ahead to France v Ireland and the Six Nations and the impact. And you mentioned the La Rochelle top 14 game there. We've got that coming up, and we will dive into a bit of Pro Day as well. But what's first up, Richard?
Well, let's get stuck into Six Nations week. It is I always get excited. It's always a bit of a gem during these cold months, isn't it? And we have the Brucey bonus of a Thursday night kickoff. Not last Thursday, as we both incorrectly thought it was for some reason for a concerted period of time, but this Thursday, 9:10 French time, under lights. Big run up to that game. France v Ireland should be a lot of fun. What are your general thoughts?
Let's get out of the way. Let's get the first thing out of the way. How do you feel about the Thursday evening kickoff?
I'm not adverse to it as a one-off, but it does feel a bit weird. I know it's obviously been put in place as to not clash with the opening ceremony of the Winter Olympics, is it?
Yeah.
Which I assume is taking place on Friday. I'm not.
And it's in Italy, and France and Italy take the Winter Olympics much more seriously than
so I do get it. I don't know if I'd necessarily want it to be a standing thing. I think there's quite a nice novelty of it kicking off this year, and it's like a little bit of a bonus Thursday night affair. A bit like when the World Cups are on and you get sort of random Wednesday, Thursday games in the middle of the week. But fundamentally, it's not great for travelling fans, is it? Which I do think is something that should be maintained. But yeah, this year as a one-off, I'm all right with it.
I'm generally okay with it because I quite like Thursday rugby. We get Thursday rugby and Pro Day 2. I'm okay with it being moved for the Winter Olympics. My big question is, why isn't it on Sunday? Like, why did they need to? Okay, we needed to move it from Friday because of the Winter Olympics. Why didn't we just put them on Saturday and Sunday like the Six Nations has kind of always been? Why does it need to kick off with an evening kickoff? I don't know. It just have all this? Why have rugby is so backwards? Like, you're always going to get this backlash about, oh, it's not. Why is it not on a Saturday? Why is it on a Thursday? Why is it on a Thursday? They could have avoided that. And you're right, it's for the travelling fans. I mean, if it had been England, you could easily just say, oh, I'll just get the Eurostar. But Scotland, Wales or Ireland, a bit trickier.
Both French games, because the one against Italy's in Lille on a Sunday, right? That's an afternoon kickoff.
I've got an issue with that as well, but don't worry.
What's your issue with that?
Like, of all the countries in the Six Nations to move a game to northern France, away from, like, further north, so nearer to the British Isles, they've chosen the one country not in the British Isles. Why don't they just stick it in Lyon? You're basically in the Alps, which is basically Italy. Like, or Nice, like, or Marseille. Like, why are they moving the Italy game to further away from Italy and nearer to England?
Yeah, I don't know. It looks cool though, the stadium. So
yeah, but it's just weird.
That'll be fun.
I just get maybe there's a direct flight from Venice to Lille or something. I don't know.
From Rovigo to Lille, possibly. Yeah, I don't know, but I wonder if they have to be. I assume there's probably some big contract with some mega fireworks contractor that they've bought up, and it had to be a nighttime game. That's my gamble. There's a shitload of fireworks somewhere that they need to get rid of that go off at the end of the Six Nations, and they have to use it, because I'm guessing a Sunday night 9 p.m. out of the top 14 that would maybe cause even more consternation than the Wednesday evening one. But there we go. Yeah. What are you looking forward to, the Six Nations? Scotland's year finally?
I don't know. It could be. What am I looking forward to? That was very negative. I've got a love-hate relationship with the Six Nations, I'd say, because, and we've already seen it, just the sheer amount of like crap that gets churned out about like it's just the cliches. I just can't deal with it sometimes. And we've already had James Ryan talking about how, you know, can't let the crowd get behind them and stuff like that. It's just,
is he wrong? It might be a cliche, but I don't think he's wrong.
What am I looking forward to? I am looking forward to an evolution of the France side. That's what I'm looking forward to. I'm genuinely looking forward to that, because even if Scotland win, that would be amazing. It feels like now or never, but it's been now or never for the last 4 years. And if Finn Russell is the player of the tournament and Scotland win, then that is obviously great. But in terms of our areas of relative expertise, French rugby, I'm looking forward to an evolution away from a period of stagnation and to move on from 2023, which is still kind of bears a hole in the hearts of the French rugby public, I'd say.
Yeah, hard to disagree with that. And I think the fact that there's been this, it's only 3 players dropped, as it were, from the squad, but it's quite a big statement and line in the sand, isn't it, in terms of, and we discussed it last week and we wrote about it a little bit in the All Things Rugby column in the week. There's I think Galthié is almost kind of, it's sort of hand up, it's recognition that now's the time to change things up a little bit. And I think it'll be interesting to see if it comes off, whether it bears fruit, whether we see whether we actually see that change, because it was a pretty sticky autumn, wasn't it? Notwithstanding some nice tries in that Australia game. It'll be interesting to see how it pans out. I think there's still, from a French standpoint, there are still a couple of areas that feel a little bit uncertain, which in itself is quite good fun, and hopefully means that it gives an opportunity for some of these folks who've been there and thereabouts for a little while to come through and properly nail down a starting 15-23, and then more broadly, I'm very much looking forward to the tournament as a whole. I think there's some nice fixtures. When we talked about it earlier, like obviously the England France potential Grand Slam decider. Although I think that's
not going
we've
to be a
seen
Grand
it.
Slam
I
decider.
don't think it is it? But I think like the France having to go to Murrayfield is a big test, and I think it's quite the whole tournament feels quite nicely set up.
Just on that, I'm pretty certain it won't be a Grand Slam decider, but that could be just England have got to turn around this Scotland hoodoo eventually. So maybe it is this year, but my view is that England will probably lose to Scotland, or France could easily lose to Scotland because we've seen Toulouse lose to Glasgow. No, on a more serious note, like Scotland could they're a dark horse, they're a banana skin side, whatever you want to call them. They've probably not got enough to string it together for 5 games. They can barely string it together for 80 minutes at times, a complete performance, but they could upset someone. Actually,
Yeah.
England beat Scotland last year, didn't they? Because there was a shambles of refereeing performance from
Still
Pierre
whinging.
Brousset.
Still whinging. Let's talk about France in a bit more detail then. The 28-man squad, the 42-man squad got reduced to 28 over just before the weekend. A few guys obviously going back to their clubs and playing in the last round of top 14 before a couple of weeks off. Nothing overly surprising, I wouldn't say, but some cool names included. Your man Fabien Braubery is in the 28, which even if it doesn't make the 23 has got to be a good sign going forward and to maybe make a debut at some point in the Six Nations. Teo
I think
Atisogbe,
he's the only uncapped player in that list, right?
yeah, I think the rest, because there were 8 uncapped. Was it 8 in the 42?
Yeah, Dreyan as well. Dreyan
retained. Although it looks likely, I think, that Atisogbe will take the right wing berth from what's been seen so far, which will be really cool to see him back out there.
I think the thing I found interesting was only 2 loose head props retained, but 3 tight head props retained. And I've seen various reports as to who that's going to be this week. So he kind of doesn't quite know where who his best tight head is, and obviously the Weenie Antonio situation complicates that. Albeit he'd already withdrawn from the squad. They've also still got 3 scrum halves in there, which I find curious because I would say there's a clear 2 and Dobanya. Maybe I wonder if that is kind of, and the 3 tight heads is like a reps thing, like they're just the repetitions in training, or they can't afford to, maybe Serran is managing some injury stuff on the way back from injury. Maybe Dupont is managing some stuff. I don't know. I don't want to, you could read too much into it. It could be that he's in a pickle about who his 9s are going to be, or his second 9 is going to be. It could be a very much more practical reason and something that we don't see behind the scenes. But
box kick receipt practice going on.
Yeah, but obviously maybe. And just a lot of centres with Gorg and Braubery in there as well. Behind the obvious front 2 from Bordeaux.
Yeah, so the 23, we think, as you say, there's not going to be too many surprises. I guess the areas where, as you say, there's a little bit of debate is at tight head. It looks like, from everything being said, that Charles Olivon will probably start alongside Mane Meafu in the second row.
Oh, no.
No?
I saw someone else wearing the number 5 bib on Rugby Rama today.
Guillard?
Mikel Guillard was wearing
to start,
yeah.
Which is kind of the hierarchy, wasn't it? Going back to, although Guillard was at 8 over the summer in that first game against South Africa. And
goes
then
back to the back end of last Six Nations, sorry. Guillard
with Meafu off the bench.
Yeah. And then I think the back row is shaping up to be Cross, Jegu and Jelonch
starting at 8. Yeah, that's what I saw. With Lenny Nucci hopefully on the bench.
Well, is it Nucci or is it, who's the other option there? They've got Meafu. If the front row, Francois Cross, Jean-Baptiste Cross, got a shocker there. Jean-Baptiste Cross, Marchand, and then one of the tight heads, and then you've got Olivon and Guillard. You then got Cross, Jegu, Jelonch, which means you are left with, Nucci must be on the bench unless because he's got 2 back rowers in the second row, or 2 guys that can play back row in the second row, unless he goes like full second rowy in the bench with Orodu, Miafu.
I think it'll be Oradu and Miafu anyway, won't it? And then
Yeah, and then he's going to go 6-2, right? So it will be Nucci. Nucci will be on the bench,
yeah,
which is very cool.
yeah. Really looking forward to seeing him hopefully get a run out. And then the rest, I think the back line kind of picks itself, right? It looks like Jalabert will start at 10, which is very exciting. Two Bordeaux centres, Atsogbe and BLBRA, and then the main man, Tomo Ramos at the back. It's a, yeah, I mean, the the sort of the height of that or the ceiling of that side should really be something.
The tight head's the one that, because I thought I was assuming it was going to be Montagne, and I'm pretty sure I saw Aldeguerri in the 18 bib, but I saw on Blue Sky I think it was Iltud saying that the noises that Aldeguerri is going to be at tight head, so
might get the nod. Yeah, and it does. I know we don't want to dwell on the kind of crap news of Antonio, but it's put into context just how like crucial he's been, right? Like he has been the sort of guy on a pedestal in that number 3 jersey for quite some time. And it is remarkable the fact that in a country that has such a historic tie with scrummaging and massive Southwest farmers smashing people to bits in the scrum, that, and don't get me wrong, it's not like they're an absolute paucity, but they seem to have a real, at least short-term problem at tight head. It's not one that, maybe going back a couple of years I necessarily saw coming.
Well, and also in the initial 42-man squad, 2 of those guys are from South Pacific, in Antonio and Tatafu. So it's not like they're breeding their own, which is kind of what, going back to what you're saying, like you kind of expect France to be breeding tight heads. On Antonio, there's a risk with the kind of the shock of his news that you kind of, his status is heightened or whatever, and I think he kind of is worthy of all the kind of, they've pinned like they're dependent on him, but also not, because it's not like they don't base their game around Weenie Antonio at tight head in the same way that like a South Africa might base their game around Thomas du Toit and Oxenche. Like their game is not based on having an enormous tight head of the pack in the same way that La Rochelle might. Like you could say that for La Rochelle, but you can't really say that for France. I think the issue is that they don't, like, he is more than serviceable, and I think they're struggling to get something serviceable is the issue at tight head for France, I would say. If I've kind of fumbled my way around that, but do you get where I'm coming from?
To an extent, I think he's probably in the last 3 or 4 years for France been a bit better than serviceable.
But he's not in the conversation for the best tight head in world rugby.
No,
or it hasn't been. It's not like if you look at, compared to the hookers who are exceptional, and compared to some of the back rowers or the second row, like he's a very well respected tight head, and quite rightly, but he's kind of a 8 out of 10. Like you've not got like an absolute barnstormer tight head prop there.
Maybe.
So it's kind of a good thing and a bad, well, not good thing and a bad thing. It's kind of a
it was inevitable though at some point, and he retired a couple of years ago, right? And then was kind of dragged out of it by Galthié. Although
it's kind of the end of the world, but also kind of not the end of the world, I think is kind of where I'm coming from.
Yeah, perhaps. I think he's more important or has been in the last few years more important to France than that.
But then there's been large periods of time where he hasn't played. Maybe that is why they faltered a bit. Who knows? Who knows?
Anyway, so for the Ireland game itself, I mean, Ireland have got some proper injury worries, right? And a few guys missing. So Bundy Aki's been banned for 6 weeks for abusing a ref or something, which was pretty punchy stuff. Like that's a serious internal ban. And I think that the slight irony in this one is that it sounds like Ireland are pretty short at loose head. I think they've got a bit of an injury crisis, haven't they, with Porter and McCarthy and Beelum are all. I think
Beelum is fit.
Is Beelum
Porter,
fit?
McCarthy and Doyle is their kind of third choice. So they're down to their fourth choice loose head.
Oof. So, all this talk about the French tight heads, it might not be as consequential. But what would you, I suppose, from a French perspective, what would you want to see in this game to get the tournament started?
I think you'd want
Jalabert first half hat trick.
Yeah, given the Ireland injuries, I think if France are going to be, are going to impress me this tournament, and it's all about impressing me, Richard. I don't care about anyone else. If they're going to impress me this tournament, this needs to be a 15-20 point win, given the Irish injuries. Like they should outclass them. That's not the bare minimum standard, but that should be what they're looking to do because of the gulf in the way that Ireland are coming into this. They staggered their way through their own autumn campaign just as much as France did, and they've now got a load of injuries, and they don't have the best player in the world returning for them as their kind of captain, leader, legend. So there's
John Terry, the French John Terry.
But yeah, like the positivity, there's way more positivity around France than there is around Ireland at the moment.
Yeah. I'm having said I'm not that sure about the Thursday night fixture. I'm actually really looking forward to it. It should be an awful lot of fun. Go on then.
What do you want to see? What do you want to see, and what constitutes success on Thursday then?
I want to see
bonus point.
I think a bonus point. I don't know if necessarily margin of victory. I think I kind of agree with you that, as you say, given the relative status of guys coming in and out with injury, I think it's pretty loaded in, or it should be loaded in France's favour. I think it's just the manner of playing, or particularly offset piece, and not just with desperate. I mean, I would love to see Mathieu Jalabert go full Jalabert and just wang it around, but I think a little bit more thought and craft off first phase, looking to sort of unpick Ireland when they have the chance. I think what we saw over the autumn was that when you've got guys like Ramos, BLBRA, it's no surprise that off loose ball and spurn possession, they can cut you to ribbons. But outside that, we didn't see a huge amount. And in theory, there's a team there that can do some amazing things off phase play. So that's what I'd like to see a little bit more of from France.
Nice.
Yeah, and some lovely and hopefully some nice training stash as well, because it has been good in recent years. Score prediction to round us off?
35-15.
Oh, it's interesting. I was going to go 35-21. Okay. So we're thinking 5 converted tries or 10 Thomas Ramos penalties and a solitary try at the end. Unconverted try from in front of the posts.
That he hits the post with, yeah.
You heard it here first. Cool. Should we talk a little bit?
We've missed
What
out.
have we missed?
We've missed out what we were going to talk about. We talked about tight head props. We didn't talk about the terrifying nicknames of some of these French tight head props.
Oh, what's Montagne? The panda.
So Regis Montagne is the panda, which actually I think pandas can do a bit of damage, can't they? And Colombe is French for dove. So we've got George Henri the dove. So we've got the dove and the panda, not particularly threatening tight heads.
Are we allowed to go with? So I've actually got the perfect image for this that I can show you, which is a photo I saw earlier where someone actually having a dig at Dorian Aldegheri, man after my own heart. But it's a picture of Dorian Aldegheri with a prehistoric creature. And for some bizarre reason, they look quite similar. It's him with a giant Rex from Toy Story. Which I assume. So yeah, maybe
that's too intimidating. I quite like the idea that these French tight heads are named after kind of quite.
Wait, Rex from Toy Story is he's scared of everything, isn't he?
Yeah, I know, but it's still a T-Rex. What is it you got?
Yeah,
if you can make it snappy. I was thinking he looks a bit like a wombat. I was going to go for the wombat for Aldegheri.
Yeah, I'm happy with the wombat.
I've got
they've probably got a bit of violence in them, haven't they? Sort of bit of Australian nuggetiness.
I also had for Leclerc, I had the orangutan. He's got that kind of like slightly reddish hue to his kind of hair and beard, but also he kind of looks slightly perturbed. If you've disrupted him from a slumber sometimes. So I'm going for the orangutan for Leclerc.
Okay, nice.
Anything for Tavita Tatafu? I had the teddy bear for Weenie because of Winnie the Pooh. But the best I could do with Tatafu was the hippo. I just think it's just so like round. But then a hippo is genuinely dangerous, aren't they?
They're pretty mad, yeah.
We need something less threatening for Tatafu. He's injured the whole time. Does he even?
Yeah, maybe one for when he's back. Do you want to know a fun fact about Winnie the Pooh? This is totally niche. It's illegal to display images of Winnie the Pooh in China because people have said it bears a passing resemblance to Xi Jinping. And you're not allowed to have pictures of Winnie the Pooh because it looks like you're taking the piss out of the president. Genuinely, it was in a pub quiz recently. I'll let you digest that one while I introduce what was a very good round of top 14. We'll start.
And everyone in La Rochelle was weirdly paying tributes to President Xi Jinping before the game.
Let's quickly start at La Rochelle, who frankly had a pretty awful week, everything with Antonio, and then were 31-0 down inside 35 minutes against Lyon. Pretty remarkable stuff, really, even for a side that have been in pretty dire form. I don't want to read too much in a tricky week, but that was not necessarily the response thereafter, not least as well when Lyon were going under the posts during a kind of minute's applause on the 3-minute mark, which does rather highlight the danger of a time-bound tribute in the middle of the game.
Gabandor's first top 14 try, that.
Yeah.
A man that couldn't stop scoring them in Pro Day does finally scored in top 14.
Yeah, a couple of just a couple of things on this one that I saw that were remarkable. The Sam Simmons try, interception direct from a quick line out throw, which I'm not sure I've ever seen before. He'd been a little bit quiet. He hadn't made the footsie the week before, but Gita Wynangolo goes 80 meters again. Like, it's so much fun to watch.
I enjoy because he picks it up in a ruck on the 22, doesn't he? And then he kicks through, and there is a moment where it's the action is kind of passing halfway, where there's a proper comedy. Somebody's running in treacle as he overtakes him on the kick chase. Yeah, but the guy is the poor Blake. I don't know who it is, but he's at full tilt trying to recover. He's busting a gut, and it looks like he's going backwards.
Yeah, it's incredible. Absolutely incredible. And then
the final little kick ahead from Wynangolo in that, I'm pretty sure he's having a chuckle to himself because he knows what he's done. There's an element of a curl of the lip of a smile.
Yeah, there was. I mean, I just love watching him. It was just so
it's proper piss take stuff.
It was piss take. The other thing in this, and I'm not massively a stats man, but I saw this and it really was amazing because it was actually a pretty good comeback for a period of time until Lyon and Wynangolo kind of sealed the deal at the end. Lyon's got 44 points. Do you know how many carries they made in the entire game?
100.
64.
Oh my God.
Which I don't think I've ever seen before as just sheer, I don't know if it's ruthlessness or opportunism. I couldn't see, obviously it wasn't on Premier Sport the full game, but wild scenes from Lyon. And pretty forgettable week for La Rochelle.
They should really have changed that televised game, shouldn't they? With all the Antonio stuff, they should have.
Yeah,
I don't know how they do it because I think it's just the international game, so it's top 14, just control it. But yeah, it was
Montauban Bordeaux, wasn't it?
Yeah. Did you see some of the comments from Ronan O'Gara afterwards?
Saw him saying that some of them need to have a look in the mirror was the headline.
Well, that's the headline I saw and was like, well, surely there is only one person that needs to look in the mirror here, pal.
How big's the mirror?
And then I read into it and it's not kind of quite I don't know, because the big thing of that is you're being a massive hypocrite there, mate. But he says that we're a team of losers. And wow. he said, thankfully this season we have Montauban and we have Perpignan. Otherwise we'd be struggling,
Wow.
and he said the city and the club are living in the past.
Wow.
That's
quite punchy, isn't it?
Some really punchy stuff. Again, with Rog, I'm kind of like, he's good on the good statements, but there's very little. And he did like bring some blame back on himself a little bit, but he's like very much like all problems, no solutions sort of thing. And I know he's not going to say what he's going to do to turn it around in the press, but yeah. There's very little kind of like, this is what our plan is, I always think. But it doesn't matter, though, because he's got a commentary gig on during the Six Nations, so I'm sure he's got plenty of time to...
Him and Dan Bigger again, which was actually quite good crack.
Yeah, but I'm sure...
Dan Bigger described him as a Tamagotchi.
If my club, if I was in like some sort of club crisis and my club coach was swanning off to go and do the Six Nations commentary in the break period where I could be devising a new plan, I think I'd be quite pissed off, to be honest.
Maybe it'll do some
from
good.
Our perspective, he's great on comms, so all good.
Very good. Did you want to talk a little bit, because it's freshest in the memory?
Talking of La Rochelle.
Oh yeah.
Did you see who was in the crowd in this game?
No,
in the Po v Toulon game, sitting with the Po players for not the first time this season. Antoine Astoy.
Was he?
He sat like literally next to Lucas Ray and Nathan DeCron. It's like, all right, fair enough. So like, obviously the other time he did it, he got sent off, and he'd had time for a shower and fair enough, like catching up with old mates. Whereas this is him literally like, there may have even been like a Section Powers crest on his jacket. Like it wasn't that far off being that way. So
like when you saw a couple of weeks ago, when you saw Eberici Eze in the gym wearing his Palace kit from the year before, or when I saw John Joe Shelby in a Liverpool shirt when he was playing for Swansea.
But I don't know if Joe Simmons is off at the end of the season or not. But I think we might have an idea who Poe might be getting in as their next fly half if Joe Simmons does leave. Because it hasn't really worked out for him as much as it could have done. It did the first season, but
there are flashes, aren't there, where it looks brilliant. But talk to me about Poe. Sunday night, the Hamo was looking cracking.
It was looking cracking. It was a strange game in that, I mean, I was very nervous for a lot of it, certainly the first half, and Toulon, it's just the power at the scrum that Toulon have is really, really impressive, and Po just have too many bad days where they just concede penalties at scrum time. Sinclair was really good. I don't think there is a player, maybe it's because it's English, I don't think there's a player that is more audible on a ref mic than Kyle Sinclair, including that there's one highlight in this where Aaron Grandidier like got taken out or like clocked in the head, like a swinging, like a glancing blow to the head, and he's like on the floor, but he's not. And Kyle Sinclair screamed at the ref, "He can't dive. It's not football." And like you look at it back, and it's like he's not dived. There's a legitimate he's on the floor because he's been tackled, he's been hit. I can't remember the specifics of it, but it's just like he was just on one. And he is, and that comes with good and bad with Carl Sinclair. But his scrummaging was excellent. But he's a complete pest. But after he kind of went off, and Poe kind of did a bit better in the scrum. But Poe, they're a weird team because the scrum is like obviously, and there have been other teams like this in the past. I think of like Saracens when in the kind of as they progressed, they have like a good pack, a really good physical pack, but rubbish at scrum time. And Northampton had this for a little bit when they still had like Laws and Ludlam and all that lot. They were still pants at scrum time. But the maul, they've got the best maul in the league, I think. I think it's like most maul meters, most tries from mauls. And they had a couple in here. Helps having Montoya at the back of it, who's pretty good at steering them. And kind of there's just a bit more power in the second half. And the maul game got to work. Jolmes was pretty good. I thought Credos was really good again, line out and round the park.
He's had a great season.
Yeah, Toulon just kept giving away penalties. How they managed to go the whole game, I think, or there might have been one near the end without a yellow. I've got no idea because they conceded so many penalties in their own 22. Po, I think were kind of, they could have got an attacking bonus at the end and decided to kick it all the way downfield, which is bizarre. And I think that would have flattered them a little bit because it was a bit tighter, certainly for the first 40, 50 minutes. they did have, because Fabien Braubery was away with the France squad, and the youngster who's in the France under-20 squad, Quentin Valentino, pulled out just before the game. They had Reece Hewitt starting at 12.
Yeah, I saw that.
Which I mean, he carried very well. Yeah, he's filled in there in against the Bulls, I think, or maybe against the Scarlets in Champions Cup. But it's the first time he started there, as far as I know. And you could tell that he's kind of a forward playing in the centre. Like, he carried very well, and he got in around the ruck. But they use the 12 as such a pivot in attack, and it's just a completely different role for a flanker to kind of mimic the kind of someone like Fabien Braubery. But so they did well to kind of overcome that, and fair play to Reece Hewitt for showing. But he's having a really good season generally as well.
Yeah, and he's just extended his. Has he extended his contract?
Yeah, he did. Yeah, last week I think. 100 games for Luke Whitelock for Section Palwaz as well. Very
cool. Mate, talking about New Zealanders, surely there's the rumour.
Oh, well, Aaron Smith might. I didn't think I could love a Poe player more than Taylor Sogbe or Fabien Braubery, but if Aaron Smith goes, Jesus. I tell you who played well for Toulon, yet again, was Ollie Cowie. I thought he was he's a proper, he really mixes it. He's pretty physical. He's the coming man which makes him probably about 9th choice centre for France in the current stakes, but he's playing really well. I really like the look of him.
Very good. What else happened over the weekend? Oh, mate, you're talking about the non-dive Aaron Grandidier that Sinclair is calling out. Did you see another guy's had a terrible couple of weeks, Damien Penaud, in this game Montauban, who were far more dogged against Bordeaux, who I think were a little bit wasteful at points, weren't they?
Yes, they were. I think Bordeaux played down to Montauban's level. I wasn't very impressed with Montauban at all.
Well, teams have been blown away by Bordeaux, so I'll give them a little bit of credit. They've had such a tough time of it. But Damien Penaud, getting Fabien Galthier's best mate, Fred Quercy, getting no arm. Quite rare that I'm not sure I've ever seen a no arm tackle be given as a red, which I guess almost the out. It's kind of like when you take a player in the air, right? It's like outcome driven. So he's basically landed. He's kind of gone a full.
He does kind of like flying headbutt Penaud's legs.
It's bad. Like
it's quite dangerous. It's so out of control, and his arms are nowhere near making a tackle.
At first, I was like, you can't really see what's happened there, and then you're like, that is a proper knee breaker.
Do you think that's Damien Penaud's way? You saying that's Damien Penaud's way to get back into the France squad by getting Galthié, Nemersmith, Fred Quercy sent off?
Yeah, I don't know if I don't know what that kind of love triangle looks like, but it's a very, very complicated one. But Damien Penaud also getting done for simulation for a glancing head contact when he had a hole in his face that was
bleeding from the cheek. It's like done for simulation,
which I don't think I've ever seen before, which is incredible. The other thing I've never seen before in this game, this one, I'm only interested in some of the weird stuff that happened, was Jerome Bosviel in the last minute taking a conversion off the deck without a kicking tee. As in if ever you want to, like, the truest of AstroTurf surfaces is clearly at Stade Sapiac, because he just balanced it on the floor and whacked it over Son's tee. I've never noticed that.
I did not notice.
It's incredible, absolutely incredible.
The other thing that I picked up in this game, well, Tous Ensemble and Chantera is still a banger, the Sapiac anthem. But Jeremy Marouad has played for 7 clubs in the top 14.
Wow.
That's incredible. And it's not like I kind of assumed that, maybe he was, he's late 20s and he kind of started his career at Stade Francais and then moved. He has genuinely made appearances for 7 different clubs in the top 14. It's quite impressive.
That's amazing.
For a man that I've essentially not really ever heard of. He's also played for Rouen in Pro D2, so he's had 8 clubs.
I wonder what the record is. Most clubs
played. I mean, seven's got to be going.
That's a lot, isn't it? That is a lot.
Like Andy Good played for 6 clubs or something. Like,
yeah, that's some going.
Marouad's got a couple of years to go. I think he's in like 32. He could go. He's a hooker as well. He could go on forever.
Yeah.
It'd be like Steve Claridge.
It feels like a great
Dublin.
signing for a side coming up into the top 14.
Yeah.
So I think whoever comes up, he's going there next year.
Going to Provence.
Yeah. Just one other nod on this game, which I think you spotted, Rod. There was quite a cool debut in the Bordeaux side.
Yes. Yeah. Adam Zapadowski.
Yeah.
Have I got that right?
I think so, yeah.
Who is Polish.
Yeah.
Which I don't know whether there's been a Polish player I assume there has been, because there probably has.
Yeah,
there can't have been many Polish players in the top 14. He looked pretty good as well. Did you see any of the post-match footage?
No. Oh, it was him, Big Ben shaving his lid. Yeah, I did see that.
What I quite like about that is also
in
the background, like, well, Cameron Wookie's shirt off, but Gaetan Barlow, I think, shakes the hand of Jefferson Poirot, and they're clearly talking about Jefferson Poirot's throwing, I reckon, because he filled in a hooker and he actually did pretty well. It's like the way they're like gesturing to each other. It's like, oh, well done, mate. And it's like, yeah.
You've just got someone getting
Big
scalped in the foreground. Ridiculous. Oh, so good.
And Timo Mathieu played well. There we go.
Yeah, fantastic player. A couple of other bits. Montpellier, after I spoke last week about Stade Francais' general competitiveness away from home, and
you were so effusive with your praise of
they were so
good. Stade Francais, a good
good league.
The top 14 needs Stade Francais side performing away. What does it?
And they just got absolutely humped away at Montpellier. And things were the only thing of note. I mean, Montpellier were very good, but having the week before, Leo Barre was very much the supporting actor in the Dakawanga own try against Bordeaux. He wanted
to steal the limelight.
He is up for leading male in this year's an incredible effort behind his own try line. I can't remember who it was. Was it Anyanwu who got on the end of it? Could be wrong.
No, it was a good day for the Ros Beefs. There was a try for Anyanwu, one for Hogg, one for Price, one for Billy V.
All happening.
All happening. Do you know why?
If you haven't seen that, it's a beauty. It's straight. It's up there.
I was trying to work out if like he could shoulder the blame with someone else, or whether it was entirely like down. Like, was he sold by one of his teammates? And I think he can clear the ball. He gets given the ball behind on his own try line, a quick throw, which maybe they don't want to risk the line out. Montpellier got a good line out. They don't want to be boxed in. Cool. At that point, he should just there is enough time and enough space for him to just welly it into touch. But I don't know what he's thinking. Do you know why? And this game also proved why Scotland are going to win the Six Nations, because there were 3 Scots and none of them are in the squad, and they were all really good.
There you go.
Stuart Hogg actually played really well in this game, really, really well.
But he's a grub, so
he's a grub. There was a missed conversion at the end. Did you see who took it?
No.
It was Gabriel Ngandebe, who was celebrating his 150th appearance for Montpellier.
Wow.
He gave him
that's cool.
that one from Billy Vapola, which is 10 metres in from touch. Just cheers, lads.
That's incredible.
There was just on Barre, because he lobbed one on the floor as well, which led to a Montpellier try. I saw Stade Francais Actu, so the kind of fan news account on Twitter, said Barre et Carbonel. Wow, le match de terrorist.
Well, that's pretty strong, isn't it?
I've not seen enough of this game to see how Carbonel. Yeah.
The bits I saw the first half, I thought Carbonel was fine, to be honest, but maybe something imploded in the second. That's an interesting turn of phrase, I'd say.
Yeah.
A little bit of Stade Francais news while we're on them. Last week, our main man, the spy, Sekou Makalu, he was back at it in the same Instagram story. He was now flying at night, and then he was at the gun range. So he's upping his prep. And today, obviously a little bit of a break, he was, what else do you need as an international spy, man of mystery, James Bond? You need to be able to ski. He was in Val Thorens, I think with a couple of the Stade Francais guys, but yeah, he was out on the slopes as well today. So spy school seems to be going well.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Incredible. I couldn't
We're
believe
looking,
it.
we're
I'll send
looking
you
for
the
like
photo.
there's already someone called the Spy, isn't there? Remy Baget was called the Spy.
Yeah.
Because they thought there's no way this guy's a rugby player just looking at him.
Yeah.
Whereas Sekou Makalu, you would think looks like a rugby player, but yeah, Sekou the
Yeah.
Spy.
Oh, all fun and games. Cast one again. That was good.
Yeah.
Apparently
not seen any of that game.
relatively comfortable. Despite the scoreline, and Racing, their season ticket holders getting decent value.
Wow,
84th minute. Well, good points.
Well, you get to see Telephone and whoever else, and
Yeah, you get to see the works. You do get to also see Leo Carbonneau somehow getting himself under Pasolo Tuolangi in the 84th minute to salvage a victory, which, according to the stats on All Rugby, great resource if you're not already familiar with it, have a look. A quiet 70 kilograms weight difference between Tuolangi and Carbonneau.
I'm actually slightly
remarkable.
surprised it's that little.
Yeah, yeah, it's
that's nearly a
something.
full Ugo Sun.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah, remarkable stuff. And actually, to be fair, there's a game that, again, Racing went flying ahead in, and against a very changed Perpignan team, contrived, as is their wont, to let them back in and nearly lose, but they scraped home in the end.
There was a wonder try in this as well from
there was
Jefferson Lee Joseph from behind their own try line,
which I think was a very similar, like, starting and end place, maybe other ends of the in goal to the famous Dakawaga one a couple of years ago. Yeah, it was incredible. There were some amazing tries.
That was Jean Bouin. It was against Clermont.
Oh, who am I thinking of? It was definitely a Racing one. It was definitely indoors.
The Dakawanga one it looks like it's indoors, but it's I'm pretty sure it's Jean.
Fair. That leaves, and there was an amazing try in this game as well, Toulouse versus Bayonne. Did you watch this? I think you said you had
I did, but I kind of watched the highlights back today and realised that I didn't really take that much of it in. I think I was looking for headlines rather than actually kind of concentrating on
watching the game.
Yeah. It was. I think it was also it didn't really grab my attention, this game. Also, I kind of partly watched some of it like on the tube and on the bus and stuff like that. So just all not a locked in experience. But the first half I found it very hard to lock in because it was pretty drab. I've got one real bugbear on this is first couple of minutes, like Bayonne nearly score, right, and Rob Liotta I think like knocks it on quite near the line, but they get a penalty. It's bang in front of the sticks, 0-0 away at Stade Vallon, and they kick to the corner. Just like it's the game.
I don't mind that.
The game barely started. Just get in front. They were 3-0 up. They would have been 6-3 later on in the game. You know, you got to force them into that. You're not going to score just like that.
Yeah, but you're also not gonna beat them 12-10, are you? Right. So I get it.
I don't think Bayonne are beating anyone at the moment.
Yeah, they're in a bit of a patch, aren't they? They seem to have the whole Champions Cup run feels like it's really sucked a bit of momentum out. A couple of injuries, all coming at. Yeah,
I did want to do some analysis on the teams that rested during the Champions Cup and how they'd fared post Champions Cup pool stage, and see if I could back up my argument. But Sale have fucked it as well recently. They rested players, but then so did Quins, and they did really well in the Champions Cup. So maybe I'm trying to mention. The other thing on this, well, a couple of other things. I thought Barassi was really good off the bench, and that's just another centre. Like he was
crazy.
Last year he was first choice. So and that was his first game since the Fiji game, I think, of any kind.
Was it?
Yeah.
Wow.
Just another centre. So that puts like Fiku like seventh choice, because Barassi's probably ahead of him. We've got to talk about Paul Grau, mate.
We always talk about Paul Grau. I know he was excellent.
I don't know what I'm missing. Like, there's quite like there are other people out there that don't rate him, and I kind of can't work. People are like, I can't believe Saito starts behind him. It's like I can, because Saito's kicking game is rubbish, and Grau I don't see him make that many mistakes.
Yeah, I think for me, I've never quite been as on board as you are. I don't think a year, 18 months ago, I was wrong in that, but I'm very willing to accept. I think he's been. I think the period in which he was essentially, has been first choice with the DuPont injury, has added a huge amount, as you would expect, given he's had a lot of game time. He was in a very good team, and he was excellent, wasn't he? In the top 14 final, actually, it was really well controlled. And he's incredibly sparky, isn't he, when he's at his best? And there are some proper highlight moments in this game where he's kind of cut the game open, which, particularly given how stodgy the first half was really, really impressive.
Yeah, he was.
I'm willing that he's better.
Large parts of this game, I thought he was the one person on the pitch bringing any quality to it, really, which is quite something in a Toulouse team that had that many internationals. But they didn't. No one looked particularly good apart from him, really, and Barassi, I thought.
Yeah, fair play to him. He's doing well. I'll give you that.
He's got lovely eyes. He
has got lovely eyes. We saw him, didn't we, in Toulouse when we went that time outside pub o'clock. He was wandering past. Yeah, great memories. No top 14 next week. Pure Six Nations. I was going to say drama, but there might not be. Who knows? So we'll give it a couple of weeks. But it was a good. The last couple of rounds, top 14 have been a lot of fun. It's been some tight games, a few turn-ups. Have enjoyed it. Shall we park it there and come back for a bit of the real deal, some lower league stuff after the break? Right, Rob, first of all, Nationale. All home wins.
Nice.
Unless I'm very much mistaken. So nothing too shocking taking place. A few teams consolidating their positions. The big thing that's been doing the rounds that we reposted was the try by Matthias Ortiz for Mark and Barruel up in Lille. The stadium's it's an athletics track, which is always a little bit of a black mark, but pretty impressive bit of kit, the stadium there. If you haven't seen it, the Rugby Rama post underneath was like, we found the Ronaldinho of Nationale. It is pretty. Have you seen it?
I don't think I have. I saw that we reposted it.
Oh, it's incredible. But if you want to watch it properly, this is the bonus that got sprinkled in today. We've spoken a bit about a few guys, we speak about Grau a bit and we speak about Browbury, but the main man in Nationale, Victor Fireballas Burel, it turns out he was commentating on this. So not only do you get to see, if you go on his Instagram story, not only do you get to see one of the most incredible bits of skill you'll ever see, you get to hear big Victor Fire in the background going absolutely ballistic as he burns the last man as well. It's perfect. You could not wish for more. It's ridiculous, isn't it? It's so good.
That Malcolm Burrell kit is class as well.
Yeah, it's very cool.
Blue.
It's so cool. I'd like to go. I feel like that would be an iconic trip up to the north.
It's Antunes. I was going to say it's not Matthias Ortiz that scores all the points.
No, Antunes, who's the winger. So that is.
He's proper Basque. He's started at Stade Hendaye.
Oh wow!
Right on the border.
That's cool.
And then moved to Bayonne. Yeah, so he's proper Basque. Matthias Ortiz, 22.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't realise he was that young. That's cool. Big future ahead with that sort of carry on. It was absolutely unbelievable. So Pro de Deux, a few things. First of all, the Thursday night game, Van Oyena Van at Stade Charles Maton was foggy to start with. It was very, very foggy. It was.
I feel like there's proportionally more foggy games in France than the UK, because there was a lot of chat about it on the FI UK chat, and I was like, I feel like I've seen loads of foggy games in France. Although there's quite a few often. Brive
a few weeks ago, or maybe a little bit longer ago, it was proper pea super. That was quite good fun. It was in the end. It came to pass. The Roo Rumble. I think it was the first time I think this was backed up as well. First time in 11 seasons between them playing in France that they played against one another, which is very cool.
And they both played really well.
Yeah, they are.
Jonathan Ruru's kicking
fucking
brilliant. Yeah.
It was. He absolutely hammers it, doesn't he? The distance of some of his box kicks was
miles.
Was remarkable. Yeah, and that's with the fog as well, which probably takes a couple of yards off.
It's like and also they're near the Alps, so it's like altitude Oh no, altitude goes further. Sorry, it goes
Altitude
further.
is good.
Yeah.
Highest stadium in French rugby, or at least in professional French rugby, Stade Charles Mouton.
I can't say I'm
I
that
found
surprised
out.
about that.
No, no.
Yeah, I was going to say in professional rugby, surely Servette or where they are in Nationale 2, the team in Geneva. Surely that's
Yeah, of a claim.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's higher than
But
Grenoble. Interesting. Okay, that's fair. I'll look
yeah,
it
I
up.
think so.
One
Yeah.
somewhere called Stade des Alpes. It's
You'd think might be in with a shout. Yeah. But it was another last proper buzzer beater. Van again, get another win away from home. It was actually I must say I was watching this a bit on and off, but it was exciting. And there were some lovely bits of skill as well. A couple of great tries, particularly I think the first or maybe the second
second
win
one,
try.
yeah, that
Was,
Rabu, Melam Rabu kind of finishes off. But yeah, it's brilliant work down the left wing, isn't there? Kadiri had a pretty good game, didn't he?
Yeah, it was very, very impressive. Yeah, sort of kind of running out a little bit because Van had a decent side out, but there's still a lot of change.
It looks fallible.
Oyonnax
It looked like on paper it looked fallible,
100%,
especially because
yeah.
Oyonnax looked like with Vivas and Karkadze in the front row, like it looked like Oyonnax could do them, and actually at times it did. Like in the scrum, they monstered them a couple of times. But yeah, Van still just ground it out.
Yeah,
I think, like, they're proper like
so
winning
impressive,
habit, isn't it? Like you said this last week. Like,
they've done a few, haven't they? Narrow ones away from home as well.
two
Like they
tough
just
ones away at Grenoble and away at Oyonnax. Two big teams, like as in big physical teams, not just the kind of budgets and stuff. Like two big packs in tough conditions to grind them out again in those circumstances is pretty impressive.
Yeah, very cool. I still think I mean, not kind of anything radical here, but I think Oyonnax are going to be pretty good for a Barrard spot.
Yeah.
Come the end of the season.
Actually, one of the internationals in that side, like
there's a huge amount. I mean, I think you did a count up, didn't you? Best part of 250 international caps.
I think that was between the two sides.
Well, I think that wasn't it for. Yeah, you might maybe, but there's plenty essentially. Yeah, I think they'll be all right. And I was very, very keen earlier, Rob, to make sure you mentioned Adam Zapatowski because there was a further Eastern European connection in this game, which is really cool. And there's a picture on the Oyonnax account of this. So a guy called Miroslav Nemecek, who I must admit I'd never heard of, played 170 games for Oyonnax. So something of a club stalwart. He is from Czechia.
Oh, wow.
And he was there with the team he now coaches, which I think was like an under-18 side, who, let me make sure I get the pronunciation of this semi-correct, Rugby Club Mountfield Ricani, who are about 20 odd miles suburbs of Prague. And they brought the whole load down to Oyonnax for a game, which is as part of a rugby tour, which I thought was very cool.
That's really cool.
Yeah, so I hadn't realised. I mean, it's Polish. There can't have been many Czech players to have played that many games for anyone in France.
Well, we should say that coming out this week, last week I was a guest on the Rugby Through the Leagues podcast with Carl, talking about how Pro D2 and French rugby kind of has helped grow Rugby Europe Championship and kind of lower reaches of European rugby. So yeah,
give it evidence.
Yeah. Zapatowski.
When does it?
I think it's
when does it come out?
Friday.
Nice.
So you can, if you're hungover celebrating France's trouncing of Ireland, then you might be able to listen to it then. If you decided that you've not had enough of me waffling on, you can get another.
You can get another fix.
Yeah.
I mean, speaking of sides that have decent Rugby Europe Championship representation, Aurillac the Lac got a squeaky win against Valence with a few of their Dutchmen to the fore.
Yeah.
June Peters was in the Midi Olympique team of the week. Very impressive from them. Another time, Rob, we've got to talk briefly because it is remarkable. Mont de Marsan, who have had, a shocking season, really, but continue their giant smashing form at home.
Yeah, they've beaten at home. They've beaten the teams with the 5 biggest operating budgets in the league. They've beaten Brive was the last of the quintet, but they've beaten Vannes, Grenoble, Provence, Nevers. They did lose to Oyonnax, who I think are the sixth highest budget. But they've also beaten Valence Romans, who were second or third at the time. So, although much more modest budget. That was also a proper Brive team.
Yeah.
That pack was enormous. The back line had star quality. Cohen Bosch played, Shilcock, Cooney, Courtney Laws. There's been some very disgruntled Brive fans, from what I can tell. I think there was an article in the week that I think it was in, I can't remember, La Montagne, which I think is it's a regional newspaper, but it was kind of talking about how they were kind of letting go of some of these youngsters and stuff like that. So they've obviously lost last season. They lost Ferté and Carbonneau. There are rumours of both. So Keller Tawana, who was a starting fly half in the World Cup for France under-20s, him and his younger brother potentially off to Toulon. There are two props called Tafili, who look absolutely enormous, who are also apparently off to Lyon. There is Van Aerten, I don't know much about him. He's apparently off to Provence. And then Freysenon, who started this game, is a very good Lucé prop, is apparently off to La Rochelle. So there was one very disgruntled fan who was just like, here is Project 2030, and then just listed out all of those players, young players, moving away from Brive. They also apparently turned down Richard Cockrell, according to Gigala on X.
I was going to say,
he's he's a journalist, isn't he? We follow.
Yeah.
But yeah, they turned down Cockrell to focus on Patat, who is under contract until 2028. So, and that is what's causing the youngsters to move out. It's basically they can't. There's the management. They can't settle on a coach.
Yeah, it's interesting because I thought I must have misread or missed the update because I thought Cockrell was kind of the front runner and Patat had been sort of moved on from, but. Yeah, interesting. So big names getting thrown around. It was El Av, wasn't it, last week, who I think turned them down, and yeah, very interesting.
If they go Patat, they might. I mean, Patat at this current rate, with Travers knocking around at Bayonne, might want to go, but they're going to have to buy him out of his contract if he's got 2 more seasons to go. And because they signed him to that contract quite recently. So yeah, that's probably the issue there with Brive, is that people are just like, well, you're not going to be able to do that. So
yeah, it could be a good man for them, to be fair, if he can get there. The other headlines from Pro D2, Colomiers keep marching on, 42-0 over Saxby, our boys.
Yeah, there was talking of Rugby Europe Championship. I don't know if he ended up as player of the weekend or not in Pro D2, but Rodrigo Marta in this game had 1 try. Okay, good. 8 out of 8 tackles, 4 line breaks, 155 metres made, 14 defenders beaten.
Jesus.
That is quite.
That's busy.
That is 14 defenders beating. It's quite a lot. He scored one really good try actually as well. That try is really good. It was in the top 5 for the round.
Very nice. The other round, Bezier, good. Well, narrow win, 10-6 against Dax. Bit of a bottom of the table scrap. Biarritz got past Grenoble.
You seen the Biarritz pitch?
No, I haven't actually. Is
so
it
they've
tubed?
No, they've resurfaced it, so it's a plastic pitch, but it's like dual tone. So like, you know how like when you see like stuff, if you go on the top Pro D2 tries, you'll see it because Asabez scores a really nice try. But you know how like when they mow in like different shades because the way the grass goes, it's like that, but really extreme with plastic turf.
Oh wow!
It's like dark green. It's like dark green and light green, like between between halfway and 10 is like dark green, and then 10 to 22 is like light green, and then it's bizarre. It looks like a cock up. I don't know if it's intentional, but I don't see how it wouldn't be.
Yeah, interesting. No,
maybe it's a homage to Christina Aguilera's kind of ripped jeans of kind of to mirror the patterns in the famous album cover for Dirty or whatever it is.
Jesus, yeah, wow. Yeah, we've all seen that. Oh, that's what a reference that is. That's proper. That's old school. All right, let's wrap this up.
There you go, listeners. That's things you didn't expect on a rugby podcast about French rugby from 2 English players.
Christina Aguilera,
Winnie the Pooh,
Xi Jinping, John Terry. We've had the works today. let's round off Pro League. Provence went on at Carcassonne, who actually Carcassonne, I mean, they're still bottom, but some of their performances recently giving them a little bit of hope, I think, going into the back end of the season.
They've not got a point from their last two games, but they've gotten pretty close to doing so against two quite good teams. So a bit of positivity.
Did they not get a point against Provence?
Oh, they did. Sorry, ignore me. Yeah, 19-23.
And then the other big one was in the Farence derby. Beau Farence of Argennes came out on top. Zach, I think, was carrying an injury, unfortunately, but did see that all of the Farence clan were out there supporting the boys. Argennes 53-7, and Nevers, who were so good at home, obviously this was on the road, but now without winning 4, they're definitely in a bit of a sticky patch at the moment,
Christmas,
having had a pretty decent start to the season.
And their try was in the first minute. And it was actually a really good try from Bousquet. It was like a little chip and chase solo effort. So yeah, after that, 53 unanswered points.
Wow.
I feel like the Farence derby, there's scope there for something really good as a nickname.
Give it some thought. Work it out for next season. Any other thoughts on Pro League there, Rob?
No, it's getting tasty. It's getting tasty.
It is getting tasty.
It's hard to see. To be fair, it's hard to see past Van, but Provence and Colomiers are staying with them. I think Colomiers, that's an interesting one. I just think they're finals rugby. And also like the teams that I keep thinking are doing crap, like Saxe-V and Grenoble, Brive, like they're all
still quite squeezed, isn't it?
Yeah,
in that middle.
They're not far away because they all keep losing. So
yeah, I mean Grenoble at the moment.
We've got like one fallow weekend, haven't we? Where we'll do a bit of a deeper dive on Pro League, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, as you say, Grenoble, who have had an awful season, lost 11 games. They're only 8 points off 6th, which, as you say, goes to show there's no one breaking clear other than the sort of top 3, which makes it a lot of fun. Cool. Let's leave it there, and we'll finish off with a few petit fours. Okay, Rob, petit fours, digestifs. I'll give you a little drink, a little digestif. Might bring back a few Dodge memories. You actually already know this, but thought I'd share it with the wider listenership. Our mate who was part of the Quins trip to La Rochelle the other week, 300 quid for 2 ornamental Harlequins Supporters Association General Humberts, the Irish come English bar of La Rochelle. 300 quid raised for 2, I imagine, fairly heavily soiled bar mats, given what was going on in that pub. But someone out there has got that for their man cave, woman cave, study, household bar, wherever you're putting those, I don't know. But they've raised a lot of money, which surprised me, I'll be honest. But fair play to them raising a few quid for hopefully a good cause. Rob, anything that's kept you up, kept you interested? We've obviously had Sekou Spy updates, the now weekly feature.
Linking back to our nicknames for the tight head props. So I was going to talk about Antoine Dupont. Antoine Dupont is advertising. I was watching the Australian Open final. All of a sudden, Antoine Dupont, French rugby captain, comes up in a Peugeot advert. It doesn't really doesn't make me yearn to buy a Peugeot, I have to say. Even though as much as I love Antoine Dupont, it's not. You do see him smile in it though, which is nice. It's a rarity. He was also advertising, and Ilted put this up. Is in Paris on the bus stops. He's advertising crypto, and I think I replied to that saying, "Oh, he must have been speaking to Regis Montagna, the panda, because he's a keen crypto enthusiastic." And I've just noticed in the photo, the company he is advertising for is called Bit Panda. So maybe he's set it up with the panda, Regis Montagna.
When Regis Montagna gets busted in some $1 billion crypto scam, it'll be like Interpol are after the panda. There'll be a picture of him 20 years younger making his France debut. Incredible.
So Antoine
Talking
Dupont
of-
advertising Peugeots and crypto. Two things to go hand in hand, I'm sure.
Talking of advertising, I saw on Instagram, Nicolas Deporter, who is advertising / is an ambassador, and I'm going to end up giving him some free press here. Nasdro, which are a range of non-alcoholic cocktails. So Nicolas Deporter mixing up a sort of virgin mojito out the can with a few bits of mint and a bit of lime and what have you. So yeah,
Well, you've sold it to me, mate. I quite want to try these out now.
yeah,
Yeah.
we'll have to seek him out next time we're over the channel.
We've mentioned the Clippers at Bordeaux. I do find the old photos of Nicolas Deporter with his longer hair quite odd. I don't know what it is. Like his hair is just quite weird. What else? A couple of random bits. Reda Wardy returning to Montpellier. News.
Yeah.
I did also see on TikTok. There's two good bits. They were doing one of those like winner stays on things with Anthony Bello. So you like name someone and then it's like who's better out of these two, and you keep going with that person. So I think it started off with Mathieu Jalibert, and it did like Mathieu Jalibert or Roman Ntamack. Anthony Bello went for Mathieu Jalibert. And then it kind of, I think he got bored because it was like Mathieu Jalibert or Bowden Barrett, and he was like, oof. And he's like, I'm pretty sure he's like, let's change it.
Mathieu Jalibert or Tom Raffy.
He ummed and ahed. And then the tricky one was Carter or Michalak or Johnny Wilkinson, and because Bello played for Toulon as well, so I think he might have played with or crossed paths with them. But it just shows, like, obviously Freddie Michalak is not quite in the class of Carter or Wilkinson, but they just, there's players of a generation that hold him in such great stead. What I enjoyed about this though is that someone commented, "I didn't realise he was French. I thought he might have been injured, and that's why he didn't get an England call up." And it's like,
love it.
A, he's come from Clermont. B, quite a lot has been made of the fact that Anthony Bello is French, which was that really tickled me when I saw that. It was just Also, his scar is quite nasty. His and you can see he's still missing a tooth.
Yeah,
Anthony Bello.
Yeah, not much fun. I think I've pretty much. I don't think I've got too much more, mate.
I've got one more, which
on.
is proper petit four because it's food based. Narbonne have teamed up with that famous local supermarket, local food restaurant in Narbonne, McDonald's. And they have a special menu for fans on the days of a home match. So you can go in with your ticket and you get like the special menu for the match day. And you also get a special pack of cards that is McDonald's and Narbonne like playing cards. Which is quite a natty design on the back with kind of orange and black and the McDonald's logo. It did look really cool. I was like, I really want to go to Narbonne get this special menu and get myself a pack of cards.
Oh, another reason. Narbonne's, we've had a few people, haven't we, say Narbonne is beautiful.
They do like a lot of their social media stuff. It looks like their kit is Nike, so it looks properly pro. But a lot of their social media is they're a proper club. They're a proper club, you can tell. The cards look really cool.
Yeah, it's impressive stuff. All right, just to quickly wrap us up, and this is purely something I was flicking through on the train earlier today, which is apt for Six Nations Week. The very, very good French rugby, sports journalist, but French rugby connoisseur, Paul Edison. Very, very interesting article in Rugby World, I think released today or yesterday, something like that, talking about the French Six Nations teams between 2004 and 2007. Which he described as particularly kind of unheralded. I think there was like the Telegraph or the Times today put out a 25 greatest Six Nations players, and basically no one from that French era was in it, despite them winning three of them and nearly
won a Grand Slam in 2005, did they? Or
2004, I think they did, and then I think they were a game away the year afterwards. But yeah, just a really, really good read, and some familiar names and some unfamiliar ones. Picture of Pierre Mignoni in his playing days for France, so that in itself is worthwhile. But
that 2004 team's particularly rogue, isn't it? It's like Mignoni and Jan de Leg with the halfbacks, I think.
Yeah, you might
There's some
be
legends
right.
in that though, because it's like How has
like
Yashvili not got in there, or Aaron Alderkey, or Betson, or Olivier Magna?
Well, that's it. I think some of these guys just, I don't know. Maybe, I think, no, Vincent Clerc was in there.
Dominici.
I think Josion was in there.
Yeah. Josion was like World Player of the Year in 2004, wasn't he?
Yeah. That year. I mean, it's a guy I must say I'd never heard of who was a big part of those sides. Pepito Elorga, who played for
winger.
Biarritz and then Bayonne, and was born in Côte d'Ivoire. So so it's basically a very cool watch. Or read rather. Take a look at it. All right, I think we're done for another week, Rob.
That was very highbrow, but you can look out for some very lowbrow stuff from us during the week when we release our latest Six Nations bingo.
If you want to read something that's a bit more early learning centre, then you can come
James
to us.
Ryan's beating us out the door by saying, we don't want them to start too fast.
Amazing. Yeah. Keep an eye out. We'll be putting out some stuff on All Things Rugby. Keep an eye on the socials, Rosbiff Rugby. Get in touch at rosbiffrugby@gmail.com. Rob, enjoy first week of the Six Nations, the Thursday kickoff. Enjoy parading all of your lovely French national team kit around. And I think that's us done for another week. I've been Richard. That's been Rob. We've been the Rosbiff Rugby Podcast. Au revoir.
Au revoir.
With Car Guru's Discover, you can skip the filters and describe what you're looking for in your own words. Simply type what you want, and Car Guru's Discover instantly surfaces real listings that match your exact needs. It's no wonder Car Gurus is the #1 most visited car shopping site according to SimilarWeb's estimated traffic data. Buy or sell your next car today with Car Gurus at cargurus.com. Go to cargurus.com to make sure your big deal is the best deal. That's CARGURUS.com. cargurus.com.